Our topic is concrete hollow blocks. So what is a concrete hollow blocks? Concrete hollow blocks or concrete masonry unit, also called as concrete block or cement block and foundation block, is a large rectangular brick used in construction. Concrete blocks are made from cast concrete. Example, using Portland cement and aggregates, usually sand and fine gravel, for high density blocks. Lower density blocks may use industrial waste as an aggregate. Other materials that you can use for building or creating blocks, hollow blocks, or any blocks, we can use volcanic ash like what we previously used during the Mount Pinatubo eruption. Uh, the granite rubbles, sand, which is the commonly used material for creating hollow blocks, broken glass, brick, concrete, hardened cement. So these are um, materials that are reused materials. We have the expanded clay, river gravel or crushed stone, sawdust, also a reused material, and some combustion products, which are boiler, slugs, and ash. So these are the different parts of a concrete hollow block. As you can see, it has two cores, no? But in the Philippines, we have a three-core hollow block. So that the whole of a hollow block is what you call a core, and the space or the not the space the the concrete that is in between the two cores is called the web. The face of the hollow block is called a shell. Okay, so the hollow block has dimension measured by width, height, and length. The width of the hollow block is measured on top of the block, and the height is measured on the surface of the shell, and the length is measured on the length of the shell. Okay, so concrete hollow blocks standard sizes are available in full size as well as half size. Full size blocks are rectangular and have two cores, whilst half size blocks are cubical and only contains one core. The length of a hollow block, which is 400, 500, or 600 millimeter, and it varies, the height varies from 200 or 100 millimeter. The width also varies from 50, 75, 100, 150, 200, 250, or 300 millimeter. The hollow block sizes in the Philippines are the following. We have a 40 centimeter length by 20 centimeter width and 4 inches thickness. Okay, so another size is 40 centimeter length, 20 centimeter width, and 5 inches thickness. And another one is 40 centimeter length, 20 centimeter width, and 6 inches. So as you can see, majority of our hollow blocks that are being used in the Philippines has a length of 40 centimeter and a width of 20 centimeter. The variation only are on the thickness, which is 4 inches, 5 inches, and 6 inches. So if I will go back to the previous slide, the width, like this one, this is as you can see, this is the width. No? In the Philippines, the width is the height of the hollow blocks. Okay, this is the height. The width is the height in the Philippines, and the width is the thickness in the Philippines. So this figure is a measurement that is being used in the overseas, no, overseas measurement uh, uh, dimensioning. So we have different arrangements of masonry unit. We are commonly using the running band and the stack band. So as you can see, the running band, the masonries are laid out alternately, no? In limiting the what you call this, uh, the intersections, no? The vertical intersections of the band. As you can, and there is what you call a stack band that we also see in the Philippines, no? It's a stack band. It is where the hollow blocks are placed on top of one another. So this is the running band and this is a stack band. So there are two types of load-bearing blocks, the type N and the type S. The type N blocks are rated for use of exterior wall, both above and below grade. So let type N is for exterior and type S is for interior walls. No? Type S are not rated for moisture penetration and are used as interior walls. So these are the type S. So in terms of grade, no, we have the grade A, which is a load-bearing unit with a minimum block density of 1,500 kilogram per cubic meter. The class A, grade A type blocks are manufactured for minimum average compressive strength of 3.5 up to 12.5 and 15 Newton per millimeter square at 28 days. The grade B blocks are also used as load-bearing units and a block density of 1,100 kilogram per cubic meter. And up to 1,500 kilogram per cubic meter. Grade B blocks are manufactured for minimum average compressive strength of 3.5, 2, and 5 newtons per millimeter square at 28 days. There is what you call also a grade C, which is a solid concrete block, which has a density of 1,800 kilogram and has a compressive strength of 4.0 to 5.0 millimeter square. We have 5 main types of concrete hollow blocks. We have the hollow load-bearing concrete block. Load-bearing concrete blocks are blocks that can or intended to carry load aside from its own weight. Easier handling and facility for conducting or steel reinforcement through the hollows or through the cores. So you can put reinforcement on the core of the hollow blocks. Solid load-bearing concrete blocks, as shown in the figures, is solid masonry without steel reinforcement. Tend to have very limited applications in modern wall construction, but in the United States, this is a common material. Such walls can be quite economical and suitable in homes application. Solid and reinforced masonry walls tend to be low and thick as a consequence of their lack of tensile strength. So hollow non-load bearing concrete block. So this is a non-load bearing concrete block. And the non-load bearing concrete blocks are used for fences, wall partitions, or divider, and this is not intended to carry loads. So this is a type, no? This is a non-load bearing, so this is a type S. Okay. Okay, so concrete building tile are made from sand, water, cement, and pigments and not fired like clay, but cured at temperatures of approximately 60 degrees Celsius. The curing process makes them sturdy enough to be transported and laid within a few days of manufacture, and they get stronger over time. This is the concrete building tile. Okay, so and concrete bricks are made from solid concrete bricks, like the concrete building tile. So these are quickly becoming popular alternative to other homes facade material. So this is actually a sort of a veneer type of a brick. So other types of concrete hollow blocks, we have the stretcher. A stretcher block is the most commonly used block in construction. It is laid with length parallel to the wall. So stretchers can be a load-bearing or a non-load-bearing block, depending on the type or the grade of the hollow block. So this is a corner block are used at corners of masonry at the end of a window or a door opening. As shown in the image, one corner of the block is plain while the other is stretcher design. So these blocks are arranged in such a manner that the plane and the end of the block is exposed to the weather and the other end is blocked with a stretcher block. Excuse me. Double corner or pier block is used for constructing pier, pilasters, or any other purposes where both ends of the block would be visible. The bullnose block serves as the same purpose as a corner block, but it is used when round corners are desired. A wood sash jam block is used with stretcher and corner block around elaborate window openings. The recess in the block allows room for various casing members as in a double hang windows. So these are different shapes of concrete blocks. As you can see in the figure, we have the brick types, the split face, the slump. We have the coping, chimney, lintel for beams, pilasters, screens for decorative purposes or for opening window openings, stretchers, half corners, bullnose, stretcher 2-core, stretcher 3-core. So there are also special blocks which are designed and manufactured for special purposes and which have a shape of sizes which varies from standard. So as you can see in this figure, we have also different blocks that can be used for laying of pipes, putting chase, putting capping at the end of a block. It also used for vertical pipe chase, vertical pipelines, horizontal pipelines, and it can also be used for end pipelines. So these are the special blocks that can be used for construction. We have also the split face block, no? When there is there are existing finishes on the face of the block, and these are the different sizes. These are different types of block according to sizes. We have a 12 inches block and the 14 inches block, showing these are 2 cores, solid, and we have the blocks that have special piping lines that you put piping lines on it. So this is a split face block with corner details. As you can see that the blocks are now being used for external facade design. So there are certain designs on the hollow blocks. In the Philippines, no, I think there are also hollow blocks that has specific colors or specific designs that you can buy, but it's not very easily available. So there are certain suppliers that you can buy it, but it's not available all over the Philippines. So this is the veneer masonry wall, consists of masonry units, usually clay-based bricks, installed on one or both sides of a structurally independent wall, usually constructed of wood or masonry. In this context, the brick masonry is primarily decorative, not structural. The brick veneer is generally connected to the structural wall by brick tiles, metal strips that are attached to the structural wall, as well as the mortar joints of the brick veneer. There is typically an air gap between the brick veneer and the structural wall. As clay-based brick is usually not completely waterproof, the structural wall will often have a water-resistant surface. Usually, and whip hole can be left at the base of the brick brick veneer to drain moisture that accumulates inside the air gap. Concrete blocks, real and cultured stones, and veneer adobe are sometimes used in a very similar veneer fashion. So this is commonly seen in the Philippines. The veneer masonry, we commonly use the adobe veneer or the fire brick veneer or what you call a culture stone veneer. So those are the different commonly seen veneer stones or masonry in the Philippines. So this is a sample application of a veneer. So if you have a hollow blocks, you can put the veneer using a mortar, and then you install the veneer on the surface of the hollow block. It can also be used for dry walls, but you need to put a sheeting that will be the bonding sheet for the mortar and the veneers. We also have the cellular blocks, no? Blocks which contain only one or more form voids, but do not fully penetrate the block. No? So these are certain types of blocks, right, that we can that's available. We have different types of masonry concrete blocks. We have the dense masonry aggregate blocks, lightweight masonry aggregate blocks, aerated masonry concrete or the aircrete blocks, honeycomb clay masonry, hemp masonry blocks, unfired clay masonry blocks, the insulated concrete masonry blocks. So this is the dense aggregate block. It is durable, reusable, particularly where lime and mortars have been used, high thermal mass, high strength, products availability, and recycled aggregates. The lightweight aggregate blocks, its moderate thermal mass but higher than aircrete, makes use of secondary aggregates, good insulating properties, reusable, particularly where lime mortar has been used, good product workability, and it is using recycled aggregates. Aerated concrete or aircrete blocks, it is moderate thermal mass, use industrial waste as a prime constituent. It can use what you call plastic, recycled materials from recycled what you call sawdust, no, or any recycled material, no. Based on volume, aerated blocks contains about 25% less embodied energy than the concrete blocks. So this is also the alternative to concrete, is a honeycomb clay block. Okay. So this is a sample of a honeycomb clay block. So we also have a hemp block. Hemp is a renewable material and a very good insulating properties, high thermal mass, no, carbon negative, reusable if dismantled carefully, and recyclable. It's biodegradable, hygroscopic, and lightweight. And the unfired clay block, no, it's very low embodied energy, reusable if dismantled carefully, recyclable, biodegradable, high thermal mass, and a good sound reduction. So this can be used for siding, for veneer, for paving of the driveway or the garden. No? So these are the unfired clay block. Insulated concrete form or the ICF blocks. No? This is the 80% post-consumer recycled wood waste, no? And includes renewable material, enables rapid construction, very good insulating properties. It can be used for sidings, veneer, landscaping beds, curbing, and edging. So the hollow blocks has advantages. No? Hollow blocks are produced by hollow blocks machine, also known as the concrete block machine, in different shapes, sizes, and weights. It is easily to deploy hollow blocks in construction works. That is why it is always used in the Philippines. All is needed to fit is the right block at the right place, using the same shape and size helps to easily assemble them from form any particular shape and is required for in construction area. Extremely durable and has better insulation compared to other materials that is for wall. And it's environmental friendly because it uses it's reusable and it's cost efficient. It has low maintenance and it reduces consuming space and bonding of material and plaster because hollow blocks you can easily bond materials like veneer, you can nail it, you can chip on it, no? So it's very durable and highly bonding for mortar. The disadvantage, it is unsightly and utilitarian because of the roughness of the hollow block. So you need to put plastering on it so that you can use it and you can create aesthetic appearance on the hollow block. But some of the hollow blocks are available in different colors. Okay? And some of the blocks, which is also veneer, are appealing in appearance. One of the disadvantages is water absorption. No, because of the hollow blocks, it has the ability to absorb water because of its porous. No, because it's porous. And in case you don't put fillings on the cores of the hollow blocks, those fillings will accumulate water. Or sometimes it will accumulate pests like cockroach, like ants. No, the pest will be living in the cores of the hollow blocks. So those are the disadvantages. In the United States, that disadvantage is the moisture because of the hollow blocks being porous. The water content of the hollow blocks will freeze during winter, and it will create a crack if it doesn't have a good waterproofing. Okay.